Bazelan. Representing Armenia, Bazelan. Here is Paalam, 25 years old, lost in the final in Tokyo to Britain's Galal Yafai. That was in the 52 kilogram class. This is 57. She suffered a shoulder injury in Buster Arsizio in the first world qualifier and had to retire against Shukur Ovazov. But he exacted revenge against the boxer from Turkmenistan, winning by unanimous decision on Tuesday. Bazelan also boxed in Busto Arsizio. Lost his second bout, but he's already come through 2 contests here. Beat Malaysia's Mohamed Razdanal in his opener. Came through a tight one against Yusuf Ishaish of Jordan, having lost to him last year's World Championships. So then both men who have had successes avenged previous defeats. Now they face each other here. And, well, the form book suggests that Paalam should win this. Apparently he's still carrying this shoulder injury. You know all about carrying injuries going in contests, John.
He's not carrying them just now, really. I think they always come back to haunt you the next day and you think, well, that bruise was there, or what happened to that muscle or this ligament, or so those injuries can mount up. And also, for Carlo Paalam, of course he comes in as the form favourite. It's not just injuries that mount up, there's also that pressure, there's expectation on him really. Of course, you say, pressure makes diamonds, but can he find the cutting shots early? Because it's incumbent upon him, silver medalist. This is not the territory he thought we'd be in on the road to Paris. We mentioned that fight against Galal Yafai, of course, just went on to great things in the pro ranks. He stuck it out in the amateur ranks. And he's obviously now got to use his quality to get through this one, because Bazelan, as you would expect, good fundamentals, good footwork, and we'll know all about Paalam's strengths.
You mentioned the pressure. Philippines, boxing mad nation, as we know, so a fair bit of pressure at home.
Many of them will want to win.
That's a knockout.
Well, that's worse than an injury. I think that's a standing count that's there for that one. He's packing on his punches in here. On the front foot.
Of course, Manny Pacquiao was talking about perhaps competing in Paris, but he's over the age limit to be less than 40.
Incredible career. Obviously, he's a decorated fighter and congressman as well, but trying to lay down the law at the moment. Zanyan, who's on the back foot, man in blue.
Interesting that you mentioned that Paalam going up from 52 kilograms, and just looking at the two, Bazelan looks the bigger. Neither man's landed great scoring shots so far, but Paalam has been the one to be on top so far, but it's one of those rounds where it's not decisive.
Question about it, Rory, and sometimes when you come in with a reputation in the big medal, people's eyes are drawn towards you, and if you're in, obviously, Artur Bazelan's corner, you're saying, okay, whether we get the round or we don't, for a very effective round, he's certainly given Paalam plenty to think about, but the head movement, the slick stills, a little bit of, pocket picking there from Paalam. Let's see what the judges think.
Well, 3 judges giving it to Paalam and 2 to Bazelan, and to play for in the next 6 minutes. But I've still got the feeling that Bazelan just found his range a bit as the round progressed. He was missing a lot early on.
And often that comes down to expectation. You're a little bit unsure, do I go, do I not, how do I find my distance? When you then are not as, none of these affect anybody, you know, I hit the top rope more than anything there, but that is a signal of Bazelan's intent there to say, okay,
back into this contest. Doesn't want to drop this round though, because then he'll be right up against it in round 3.
Not just drop the round. After he's thrown his jab, he's not pulling it back, he's leaving a space over the shoulder. That's now the 3rd time that Paalam's filled it. It's a good strong right hand. So good adjustments been made by the Filipinos so far.
Yeah, right over the top. Scoring plenty of points for Paalam. Missed that time. It's a wild swing there from Paalam, but unable to capitalise.
Also a sign there that Paalam was just sitting down on his punches now, swinging for the fences. After Bazelan will need to keep his head moving. Ref steps in there, a little warning.
Round 2. This exchange, and Bazelan trying to get to work on the inside. Bazelan just wants to rough Paalam up a bit, get in the inside, maybe into the dark arts, get a body shot. He took a punch there which caught him off guard.
Well, I think you're right, he's trying to make it as awkward as possible, but in doing so, he stepped out to admire his work for a moment. Although Paalam was ready and waiting with that big hook, and that's another eye-catching shot as well there. Nice little straight jab. Bazelan doing his best to make things as awkward as possible. Needs this round, of course. The power differential beginning to become obvious now towards the red corner. Big shot again.
Yeah, you just feel with
Bazelan just sailing past and leaving spaces. And a very, very accomplished round there from Carlo Paalam. Embracing the occasion, and you can see sometimes we get drawn close to the hands of the fighter and what they're doing, but the feet, the good movement results there in another close round.
all 5 judges giving this one to Paalam. Not much doubt there, and it's 2 points up on 3 scorecards. So Bazelan, as we saw in our first inbounds, he's in a situation now where he needs something big. He needs a 10-8, or more likely he needs a stoppage if he's going to progress. You'd say that was unlikely.
I would agree with you, Rory. It's more likely that he needs it, but it's highly unlikely that he's going to get it, because it's just a difference you can see in the legs, the hands, but the feet, the movement, but also the power across the thighs and calves of this man here. He's really sitting down on his punches, and every time Bazelan is taking him, he's feeling it. There's a big thing, like an energy bar going down every time he's taking it, you know.
Final round is underway. Paalam, if he knows the score, he'd probably not need to get in so close and risk being tagged. I was expecting him to be on his bike at the start of this 3rd round, but still seems intent on mixing it.
I think you're right, and I think it's also that experience. He's not going to get, he's doing a bit more now, getting up on his toes and moving, but he doesn't want to be seen to be too defensive by the judges, so they can then make a decision. We've seen his head movement as well. He knows that Bazelan likes to be awkward, so in any fight you want to be too far away, looking busy without actually being busy, which is just the most effective way to get this 1 minute and 10 done here. You'll probably see another couple of flurries, catch the eye of the judges, like so. Close the door on the ambitions of Bazelan.
The Armenian looks a little out of ideas here. Coming forward, of course, is an Olympic place at stake. He's got a bit too much to do and against a superior opponent. Although he's trying, he just got through there. You just saw him on the inside, and he just thought he just needs to start really going for it, and just couldn't unload. Got cut on the eye as well now. Don't know if that's for a punch or a clash of heads.
Seems to be the outside of the eye, and as you say, it's either one or the other, but more than likely it's from a previous bout where he's battle weary. Mercifully, we're into the last 30 seconds or so, and it's running down the outside of his eye, so he'll still be able to see. However, you can see clearly now that the task ahead of him, you've mentioned that Paalam's got the quality, and that quality counts in the end. Doing what he wants when he wants to do it. Clash of heads is the signal. And the clash of the two fighters, Paalam very much on top.
Inside the final 30 seconds. Both boxers have been warned a few times for holding and now what's going on here is a point deduction for Paalam. Now that makes things interesting perhaps.
Definitely not happy there. Something in terms of process of the fight, but as we move into that, well, the bell goes. Shouldn't make too big an influence on the overall outcome. A little bit of a surprise there from the ref intervening at the end there. Both men seem to be just running in, especially Bazelan leading with his head a little bit. He had to go for it.
Did look to be 6 of one, half a dozen the other, but it's Paalam who got the point deduction. Now if Bazelan gets that final round,
get the calculators out.
It becomes a tie on 4 of the scorecards, and he could possibly win it. But it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I thought Paalam might have done enough to win the last round anyway, so it could be academic. But
even with that point deduction, it might just end up they've tied that final round there. But well, interesting to see. Let's have a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by split decision is the red corner, representing Berlin.
Paalam progresses despite that point deduction, 4-1. See the disappointment for the Armenian. That's his Paris 2020. But Paalam is marching on. He's into the quarterfinals of the men's 57 kilogram class.